Ethiopia is a country that I've always dreamed of visiting. With its rich history, its diverse culture, and some of the most stunning scenery to be found anywhere in Africa, I knew this was a place that someday I would get the opportunity to visit. For me, my adventure began the second that I turned off the main highway onto a 60-kilometer dirt road that is considered one of the worst roads, not just in Ethiopia, but in the world. And I would soon find out why. After 2 hours of headbanging, we pulled into the base camp of Untitled, a volcano that we would climb up to that night. As soon as we got there, our guides start loading the camels, and we got ready for our 9.2-kilometer hike to the top of the mountain.
After some minutes, you are going to hike 9.5 kilometers to the amazing Ethiopia.A. Ethiopia means smoking, Ale means mountain since 1967, because the last eruption of the volcano was 1967. And I'm sure that, Mike, you are going to dive in the fire, okay?
No. No swimming in the fire tonight.
Okay.
It is just breathtaking, as you can see all around me. I've got this incredible volcano in front of me. The sun's rising over Ethiopia, and it's just an absolutely amazing day. These are one of the things I'm talking about when I'm traveling, is that if you don't take those risks and if you don't try to push yourselves beyond your normal limits, you're not going to see spots like this. This is something for serious travelers, and it's something that I pride myself on, that I get to come to these spots and see them. Absolutely breathtaking. Now we're going to make our way back down the mountain, hop in our four-wheel drives, and take off to our next spot. I cannot say enough of how incredible a moment like this is. We're on our way to the Duncan Depression, and we're coming through just literally this lunar landscape. It's incredibly isolated. It gives you the feeling that you truly are in the middle of nowhere. And this is one of the things that I love about coming to a place like Ethiopia, is being able to go where there's not a massive amount of tourists. And trust me when I tell you, there are not a massive amount of tourists out here. This is literally Earth at its beginning. Another thing we got to experience was watching the salt miners. I will say this, it has to be the single most toughest job in the world. In 40-degree heat, these guys were making chunks of salt that they would put on their camels and take to market. After seeing this, I will absolutely never complain about a day at work. It truly was incredible to watch these men out in this field working, and to watch the camel train set off into the sunset is something that I will never forget. One of the things I always try to do when I'm traveling in a country like Ethiopia is to get up as early in the morning as possible and get out and see a village as it comes to life. Walking around a village like this, for me, is the ultimate way to get a feel for the country that you're visiting. It also gives me a chance to meet a few of the locals and share a few laughs before heading off for my first cup of traditional Ethiopian coffee. I love walking down a street that I've never been on before and making my way into the local market. And this is where I always find myself in situations that make me stop and reflect on how fortunate I am to travel to these incredible places. It also has a way of making my life seem just a little bit more in focus. I've been to a lot of markets around the world, but the market I got to see today in Lalibela Really, it's unlike any market I've ever been to. It was almost like a movie set. It was so surreal. And to be able to walk through this market and feel, honestly, like I stepped back in time, this is one of the things that I love the most about the road less traveled, is when you put yourself in these situations, incredible things happen.
Wow.
Well, I get to do some very, very crazy things in all my travels. And right now, we're heading up to this area. It's considered holy. So what you have to do here is you literally have to take off your shoes, and we are climbing like literally straight up this. So right now, I'm climbing way up there. And this is one of the things I love the most about coming to a place like Ethiopia, is that if you're willing to step out of the norm of where all the tourists go to, you're going to be rewarded to do incredible things like this. But one of the things here in Ethiopia, a lot of these places you have to have a guide. I got my guide right here, who's going to lead me up this mountain. And when I get to the top, I can already guarantee you the view is going to be extraordinary. And this is what, for me, traveling on is all about, is finding these places where the mass of tourists do not come to, and you have to earn it. As I watched the local priest come towards me to lead me along the cliff's edge to one of the many rock-hewn churches of Chigray, I caught myself with a big smile on my face as he unlocked the door and let me in to see the 600-year-old paintings on the ceiling. I felt a sense of spirituality as the priest lit his candles, and I had a chance to step outside the ancient door and have a moment of my own to reflect on how incredibly fortunate I am to see the road less traveled.
Just keep walking, don't stop.
One of the most incredible things I got to do in Ethiopia was traveling in the Simian Mountains. This area offers some of the most striking scenery, not just in Ethiopia, but in all of Africa. And the thing that impressed me the most with this area was not so much the stunning scenery, but the amount of wildlife. Trekking in the Simian Mountains, it's mandatory that you have security and a guide. My guide led me on an amazing journey of his homeland, and he shared with me why he loves the Simian Mountains.
Now we are in Simian Mountain National Park, or the roof of Africa. Simian means north because Simian found in North Gondar, Amara regional state. And Simian Mountain National Park has been a World Natural Heritage Site since 1978 because Simian it represents water catchment area, the source of water. It is important for scientific research, outstanding natural beauty, biodiversity. That's why it become World Heritage Site. There are different plant species in Simian, and giant lobelia, the most common dominant plant which resists in highland area. This plant special to me because the outstanding natural beauty and also the home of two isolated unique land, and also the fresh air and the moisture and biodiversity that makes special for me.
This has been absolutely spectacular. Coming up here to the Simian Mountains, this was everything I had hoped for. My guide was awesome. The scenery was absolutely beautiful. Ethiopia has been everything I had hoped for, and even a little bit more. This is what traveling on is all about. Nice. The last stop for me is where I'm sitting now in Lalibela. This place is famous for its rock-hewn churches carved out of the solid ground. It was absolutely incredible to walk around and see how over 1,000 years ago these rock churches were formed. This World Heritage Site has lived up to its billing. This is a place that I've always wanted to visit, and I feel extremely fortunate to have spent the whole day traveling around this area. Unless you're willing to step out of your boundaries, unless you're willing to put one foot in front of the other, you will not get up to this area. And once again, for me, this is what the road less travel is all about. Ethiopia is not a place for a first-time traveler, and I will be the first to admit it. But if you are an adventure traveler, Ethiopia will throw everything it has at you and more. I cannot say it enough how much I enjoyed my time here and how much I appreciated the hospitality of the Ethiopian people. And with that, my friends, it's time for me to continue on with my journeys. And until we meet again, as always, travel on.